It's the final night of the Democratic National Convention. Here is a live look from Chicago as they prepare for another exciting evening, ending with Vice President Kamala Harris accepting her party's nomination for President of the United States.
That historic moment will cap off another star-studded evening with only 75 days to go until the presidential election. And when taking the stage tonight, Harris is expected to focus on 3 objectives, including sharing her story and record.
She'll also contrast her record with former President Donald Trump's and will root her vision in a sense of patriotism.
She's going to talk about her positive vision for the future of America, an America where the middle class won't just get by, but will get ahead.
In addition to a number of speakers tonight, both Republican and Democrats, there's been a whole swirl of rumors of some kind of surprise.
Yeah, well, the biggest rumor of them all across the convention floor is that Beyonce is going to show up, and that we'll have to wait, of course, and see what is in store for it tonight. But of course, a name like Beyonce, pretty big star if she shows up, right? Well, tonight's theme for the convention is For Our Future. And many of you have questions about the future of this campaign.
That's right. Joining us now to talk about what Kamala Harris needs to accomplish in tonight's acceptance speech is Larry Sabato, founder and director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get to the first question. A lot at stake this evening for the VP. What exactly will she need to do? What do we need to hear from her tonight?
The first thing she'll need to do is to make sure that Beyonce gets there.
Yeah, you said
Absolutely
it.
critical. And it will attract a very, very large audience. I'm not even kidding. But what she needs to do, obviously, is to continue to fill in the blanks. Yes, she's been vice president for 3.5 years, but we don't follow vice presidents. Americans never have, unless they become president or they're running for president. So there's a lot that Americans don't know. So some of this is going to have to be biographical, even though critics will say, well, that's what we've been hearing for a month. But this is the biggest audience she'll have in the whole campaign, except for the debate or debates. The other piece of it is she's got to pick 2 or 3 issues that will become the core of her campaign. Now, she's been, again, accused by critics, obviously by Republicans, of running a show campaign that doesn't specialize in specifics. Personally, I think she's better off to avoid as many specifics as possible. You just open yourself up to the other side. But she needs to tell people where she take the country. What issues is she going to focus on? If she can do that and come across in the way that she's been coming across, and she's done spectacularly in the last month, she'll be in good shape. Her convention will have given her the platform she needs to compete in the general election.
So I'm curious, something I've noticed, there seems to be this nonpartisan overture at this convention. We're seeing, the courting of independent voters, maybe undecided voters, and for example, speeches by Republicans saying you can vote for Kamala Harris and still be a Republican. And again, I just come back to the undecided vote and how critical that might be in this election.
Well, it's undecided in part because there's a slice of Republicans there who are still very turned off by Donald Trump, who voted for Nikki Haley, or in some cases, Chris Christie, who want to potentially vote for Kamala Harris. But, the pull of party today, party identification is so strong. So they could go back to Trump by election day, or Kamala Harris could win them over. I think they've done a good job in presenting some very attractive Republicans who are basically saying, hey, I'm still a Republican. I'm still conservative. I haven't become a Democrat, but I cannot support Donald Trump. Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan of Georgia, former Congressman Adam Kinzinger from Illinois, just to mention a few. And I think they've come across well. Whether they've actually made the case enough to win these critical voters is another question.
Let's talk about Tim Walz. What impact is he having on the campaign? How is he helping her and the ticket?
I was of 2 minds about him when he was selected. I was in the camp that said, hey, get Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona. It's a state where you need the electoral votes, or Pennsylvania, Governor Josh Shapiro. But I've got to admit, he's kind of won me over as I've watched him. He's very good on stage, and he's just the common man. He is Coach Walz, and that's a big plus for them. They need that on the ticket, and Democrats need that element of, let's be honest, the white male vote.
Well, and the wholesome moment where we saw his son saying, "That's my dad," last night. I mean, it was one of those.
Yeah.
It was wholesome.
You couldn't help but kind of feel a little something there, no matter where you fall on the political spectrum.
Definitely. All right, Larry Sabato for us today. We certainly appreciate your expertise and for you joining us. Thank you so much.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, on this final night of the DNC, the theme will be For Our Future as Vice President Kamala Harris accepts her party's nomination.
CBS News coverage starts at 9 p.m. here on WUSA 9. By the way, we will be streaming the entire convention without interruption on the free WUSA 9 Plus streaming app. Really handy. You'll be able to find that stream starting at 7 o'clock.